Hello, everyone, and welcome to DD Geopolitics, another great episode. I'm coming to you live from the center of the multipolar world, at least the multipolar world in the Far East, and that's Beijing, China.
Ni
So,
hao.
ni hao, ni hao. And
How is it?
nice to see you, my beloved. How are you? How's everything?
How is it? I'm living vicariously through you. I haven't even been online. I just been looking at your posts.
Listen, it's fantastic. I haven't been here since 2018 was last time I came. 2018, August, September was last time I was here at a conference at Beida at Peking University.
Mhm.
It is unbelievable. Unbelievable. The amount of changes, the advancement, the building, the construction, the development. It's it's out of this world. I can't even explain. I can't even take it all in one day. I can't even sleep here. I'm too excited to see everything.
Well, you haven't slept. You could see that. You could tell by your voice. You look great. China looks good on you. What have you been?
Thank you
What
so
has your
much.
been? What's been your favorite thing so far there?
I guess seeing some old time comrades, meeting some new comrades, and seeing all the great possibilities for DDG and for our work, bringing you the latest, especially from the developments in China here on the program. And
We're
I think there's a lot of great opportunities coming up.
we're having our own like Chinese civil war in America between these two. I think it's two Olympians. They're both half Chinese. Have you seen
Yes,
this?
yes.
And we will
We're-
fight about anything. We will make anything into a fight here.
Absolutely. The question is if they're going to start throwing food at each other and what kind of food they're going to throw.
Right. Anyway, we're team Eileen on this channel. She's the one that's skiing for China. She's this little snack, that thing. I love her. But here's Chris in China.
Yeah.
I look like such a dad.
There it is. Let's go. Let's go. So actually, so this photo explains a lot because when I was last in China, so I, of course, for those who don't know, I studied here from 2013 to 2015 in Wuhan at Huazhong University of Science and Technology. And back in the day, China, I mean, Xi Jinping had just come into power after Hu Jintao and after a big fight with Bo Xilai, who was the party boss in Chongqing. And it was, a transformational moment. But you can no longer go to Tiananmen Square just like walking on your own. You need to have a reservation. So that's something new because I got here and I was like, oh, I'm just going to go just waltz onto Tiananmen Square and take a picture and just kind of hang out. Nope. Now everything is blocked and you have to make an appointment online. You got to have a special QR code. You got to sign up for a time to go to Tiananmen Square because there's so much tourism and so much movement in Tiananmen Square's area that you got to have a reservation. And before, when I was there, it was like the Wild West. You could just go in there and, if there were, if it was packed like sardines, you were packed like sardines. And if not, you could just waltz around and just walk around the whole square if it was early morning or late at night. Now, not that way anymore. So it was very interesting to see some of the differences and transformations. Oh, you're muted. Muted.
I'm muted for the dog. Do you have any other thoughts on China before we move on to the 4-year anniversary?
One of the big things that I have noticed is that China is making enormous leaps in general just quality of life. And so it's another testament to the fact that as standards are dropping in the US and in Europe, this place is just it seems otherworldly. So it's just another confirmation that China has invested in its people and its development instead of endless wars for who knows who. Well, we know who it's for, but in any case, for the past few decades, and it's unbelievable. It's shocking.
Imagine what your country can do when you're not paying for the healthcare wars and education of a country in the Middle East.
Da, da, da,
It's your turn this week. Speaking of Hava Nagila, moving on to the other war, the SMO. It is 4 years since
4 years.
Boris Johnson destroyed the peace plan to bring us into this new commencement or new branch of World War III. I guess this week they celebrated by all getting together in Kiev. Let's take a look.
President of the European Commission, Prime Minister of the Republic, Prime Minister of the Kingdom of
So the usual suspects head over to Kiev. What's going on in
I'm sorry,
Russia?
that looks a little creepy. That whole like image
It's a
of them
cult.
like, oh wow. Yeah, it's
It's a
little
cult.
it's a little Epstein. It's a little
Well, I
Epstein.
mean, I wish I uploaded the clip. Ursula did say Europe was built on Talmudic values. So
Yes, that's right. That's right.
which is a
Epstein.
cult. So it doesn't help that they're in like the birthplace of the Rebbe in Ukraine. Anyway, we won't do that this week. This is going on in Ukraine as well. Slava Ukraini, Hail Hitler. It's interesting.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yikes.
And here they all are. Slava
Yikes.
Ukraini. Slava Ukraini. Slava
Yes,
Ukraini. Slava, 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 Slava. Oh, here's other ones. More Slavas.
Lots of Slavas.
Slava. Also this week is the rumor that Ukraine is getting nukes. Let's take a look at what Putin had to say about
Yikes.
that.
Говоря, противник не брезгует никакими другими средствами. Ну вот уже в СМИ пошло, наверное, и их попытки или намерение использовать даже какой-то ядерный компонент. Понимают, наверное, чем это может закончиться. Сейчас вот информация тоже наша оперативная идет тоже в СМИ сегодня должна быть, наверное, уже есть. Не успел ничего посмотреть, но речь идет о возможном взрыве газовых наших систем по дну Черного моря. Это так называемый турецкий поток и голубой поток. Никак успокоиться не могут.
Can you tell our viewers a little bit about nukes in Ukraine, et cetera, if there's anything in Russia? Maybe some of our viewers don't know about why Ukraine doesn't have nukes, and et cetera, et cetera.
So the Ukrainian SSR, that's Soviet Socialist Republic, after the liquidation of the Soviet Union, so there were still nuclear weapons on Ukrainian territory. And there eventually was a treaty established between, at that time, or after independent Ukraine and what became the Russian Federation, about the status of nuclear weapons and the relationship between Ukraine and Russia. And so Ukraine gave up its nuclear weapons, which were not its own. It actually belonged to the Russian Federation, which is the successor state of the Soviet Union. They belonged to the central government. But Ukraine basically gave up the nuclear weapons that were on its territory in exchange for guarantees and recognition, security, all that. So what ended up happening was the nationalists felt that this was an enormous betrayal of Ukraine's inherent right to have nuclear weapons. And they somehow think that the nuclear weapons were Ukrainian, but they weren't. They weren't Ukrainian. They were very much from the Soviet authorities, and at that time, and now they belong to Russia. So the same thing was true for Kazakhstan, for Uzbekistan. I mean, the Soviet Union had nuclear weapons throughout all of the republics, right? It's just they had bases everywhere. So of course, they're gonna use them or have them in different vehicle forms on different bases. So today, Ukraine's government and a lot of politicians oftentimes say that this was the greatest mistake, that this was the biggest catastrophe, and that Ukraine should, under international law, have its rights restored to be a nuclear power. And basically, everyone should just give it nukes because it was a nuclear power, even though it was not. It's just like, for example, Turkey has nuclear weapons, but they're not Turkey's nuclear weapons. They're the United States nuclear weapons. Italy has nuclear weapons, but they're not Italy's nuclear weapons. They are the United States' nuclear weapons. So
Right.
all that to say that Ukraine never had the right in and of itself. It just was because the territory belonged to a union state. Now that doesn't exist. So today there's information that basically says that Ukraine has been pushing to get the placement of nuclear weapons on its territory, and that the UK and France have sort of entertained the notion, which is absolutely nuts, that you would trust the Ukrainian regime that has bioweapons labs, that was mutilating its own people, that was doing countless horrors, that you're going to trust them with the placement of nuclear weapons or giving them nuclear weapons altogether. It's a recipe for a big disaster. So that's what we're experiencing right now, and it's making a lot of waves throughout Russian media, and I think the world is carefully watching this.
Also going on with the Ukraine war is a good amount of here's something from Medvedev. Answering RT's question about France and Britain's plans to transfer nuclear weapons to Ukraine, he says, I'll say something obvious and harsh. Information from the SVR about France and Britain's intention to transfer nuclear technologies to the Kiev Nazi regime radically changes the situation. And it's not about the destruction of the nuclear power treaty and other things in international law. This is a direct transfer of nuclear weapons to a warring country. There can't be the slightest doubt that under such circumstances, Russia will have to use any, including non-strategic nuclear weapons, against targets in Ukraine that pose a threat to our country, and if necessary, against the supplier countries that become accomplices in a nuclear conflict with Russia. This is the symmetrical response to which the Russian Federation has the right.
Yes, and that's very important, because Russia is basically drawing the line and saying, okay, you do this, you cross the Rubicon, then you also become a legitimate target. Right. And that's very important to understand, because France and the UK are nuclear powers themselves and members of the Security Council, so permanent members of the Security Council. So we're talking about a great escalation. So we're going to see what ends up happening. I don't think it's gonna transpire that way, but just the thought of it, just the fear of it, is definitely causing quite a stir.
I agree. Also going on in the Ukraine war, this is sort of tit for tat, which we could talk about what's legitimate, what's illegitimate targets. Firstly, Orban blocked aid to Ukraine, rightfully so. They're in a sort of energy war. Slovakia, Hungary, and Ukraine. Let's take a look at what Fico had to say about Ukraine regarding the electricity problem.
Pred prijatím dnešného prvého recipročného opatrenia proti Ukrajine pre nepriateľské akty prezidenta Zelenského som mal záujem telefonicky s prezidentom Ukrajiny hovoriť a získať odpoveď, kedy a či vôbec budú obnovené dodávky ropy na Slovensko. Obdržali sme správu, že ukrajinský prezident je pripravený na rozhovor až po 25. februári tohto roku. Vzhľadom na závažnosť situácie a vyhlásený stav ropnej núdze na Slovensku sme za týchto okolností nútení pristúpiť k prvému recipročnému opatreniu okamžite. Bude zrušené i hneď po obnovení tranzitu ropy na Slovensko. V opačnom prípade pristúpime k ďalším recipročným opatreniam. Na dnešnom rokovaní s ministrom financií Slovenskej republiky Lacom Kamenickým ako 100% akcionárom slovenskej prenosovej sústavy a najvyšším predstaviteľom tejto akciovej spoločnosti som zúčastnených požiadal o zastavenie núdzových dodávok elektrickej energie na Ukrajinu. Od dnešného dňa platí, že ak sa ukrajinská strana obráti na Slovensko s požiadavkou o výpomoc pri stabilizovaní ukrajinskej energetickej siete, takúto pomoc neobdrží. Reciprocita je základným pravidlom v medzinárodných vzťahoch. Prvá odpoveď vlády Slovenskej republiky na nepriateľské akty ukrajinského prezidenta v podobe zastavenia havarijných núdzových dodávok elektriny je preto úplne na mieste.
That's Fico's response. Again, Ukraine bombs the Druzhba pipeline. Guys, Druzhba means like friendship. pipeline that supplies Hungary and Slovakia. They bombed it inside of Russia. In response to that, Hungary has said that they will send troops to the board or to protect these the pipeline. Let me get the actual statement. And
this is a very serious escalation.
yeah. Okay. So Hungary Prime Minister Orban has ordered the deployment of the Hungarian military to protect the country's critical energy infrastructure, citing a Ukrainian threat. Drone flights along the Hungary-Ukraine border have also been banned. This is really serious. We have basically what amounts to a NATO member under attack by a country that is backed and armed by NATO. Let's take a look at what Orban had to say. We have two videos from him.
Péter visszaérkezett Washingtonból is. Péter, akkor kérünk tőled egy beszámolót a brüsszeli külügyminiszterek találkozójáról.
Új minőség van Brüsszelben. Most először hangzott el elvárásként az, hogy magyar katonák is menjenek Ukrajnába, és világossá vált, hogy az Európai Bizottság és az ukránok összejátszanak a barátság kőolajvezetéken történő olajszállítás blokkolása tekintetében. Luxemburgi kollega, aki feltette azt a kérdést az ukrán külügyminiszternek, hogy hát miért nem mennek magyar és szlovák szakértők Ukrajnába megvizsgálni a vezetéket, ha van ez az ellentmondás. Hosszú másodpercek őzése, csöndje, nézegetése után azt bírta kibökni, hogy hát erről neki még egyeztetnie kell. Tehát gyakorlatilag bebizonyosodott, amit mind a szlovákok, mind mi tudunk az ukrán rendszerüzemeltetőtől, vagyis, hogy a barátság kőolajvezetéken semmilyen technikai, fizikai vagy műszaki akadálya nincsen a kőolajszállítás újraindításának. Ezt amikor elhangzott az, hogy magyar és szlovák szakértők menjenek Ukrajnába, akkor az Európai Unió külügyi főképviselője, Kaja Kallas volt észminiszterelnök, a következőt mondta, a magyarok és a szlovákok inkább küldjenek katonákat Ukrajnába. Ez volt az első alkalom, amikor nyíltan, világosan és egyenesen megfogalmazódott az elvárás velünk szemben katonák küldésére.
So Kaja Kallas, who we don't even need to get into, but in response to why the hell are you bombing my energy infrastructure? You should send troops to Ukraine. Is this what this is?
It's like a fait accompli. It's like, oh, we're sorry about your energy supplies. You should send troops to Ukraine to figure out how to restart those supplies. You see, it's. I'm telling you, they're trying to be Weasley and trying to get them into a situation where they force them to send troops under a different pretense, and then they're going to say, "Oh, well, European troops are in Ukraine. Guess we gotta keep going. Guess we gotta escalate this."
And here's Orban's order from today.
Most ért véget a védelmi tanács ülése, amit az ukrán olajblokkád miatt hívtam össze. Január 27-e óta nem érkezik olaj a barátság kőolajvezetéken Magyarországra. Az adatokból egyértelmű, hogy ennek példanélküli leállásnak nem műszaki, hanem politikai okai vannak. Az ukrán kormány olajblokkáddal gyakorol nyomást Magyarországra és Szlovákiára. Meghallgattam a nemzetbiztonsági szolgálatok beszámolóit. Látom, hogy Ukrajna további akciókra készül a magyar energiarendszer működésének megzavarása érdekében. Ezért elrendeltem a kritikus energetikai infrastruktúra védelmének megerősítését. Ez azt jelenti, hogy a kiemelt energetikai létesítmények közelébe katonákat és a támadások elhárításához szükséges eszközöket is telepítünk. A rendőrség a kijelölt erőművek, elosztóállomások és irányító központok környékén nagyobb erőkkel járőrözik majd. Szabolcs-Szatmár-Bereg vármegyében pedig elrendeltem a drón repülési tilalmat. Magyarországot nem lehet zsarolni.
Hungarian is such a step language. It's very like whoa, whoa, whoa. Like it's very scary. Anyway, so
Ungaric, family of languages. Yes.
So and don't forget, guys, we posted earlier this week on the large account that the Ukrainians went and vandalized the monument to the Hungarian soldiers. I believe it's a monument to the Transcarpathia, maybe. And so there's a lot of tit for tat going on in that area. It's more petty stuff. It reminds me a lot of the Israelis. Also, the fact that they don't have any answers to what the hell is going on, and you're bombing our pipeline. I have to consult with somebody about that.
Yeah, let's take a look. We'll have to discuss this over in Kiev and get back to you.
Before we get to my anecdotes about we'll talk about the Ford before we go to Iran, but let's talk about the State of the Union.
Oh my God.
Did you watch it?
I watched parts of it. I was not able to catch the whole thing, but with the parts I saw.
Okay.
Yikes.
Well, I'm only going to play a few of these. So this is interesting.
That is why I'm also asking you to end deadly sanctuary cities that protect the criminals and enact serious penalties for public officials who block the removal of criminal aliens. In many cases, drug lords, murderers all over our country, they're blocking the removal of these people out of our country, and you should be ashamed of yourself.
Okay, I'm going to do a
lunatic.
little miniature crash out, I guess. He's not deporting anybody. Because he's talking about sanctuary cities for? He's not even deporting anybody. Not even deporting anybody. There is no, what are you talking about? This is what I'm talking about, this sort of LARP. We don't do anything. And then I come to the State of the Union and I pretend like the Democrats and the sanctuary cities were preventing me from doing the things that I said I was going to do. That is a lie. First and foremost. Second of all, MAGA, as people who do not subscribe to this two-party bullcrap, you flipping out today about Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib yelling from their chairs is nothing compared to what Boebert and MTG did to Joe Biden. Okay?
Remember that? That was.
Oh my God. They were out of control. And not for nothing, but Rashida Tlaib has every reason to be fucking angry. Okay?
Yep.
As she watches the state that colonized her original home now colonize her adopted home. Okay, so I don't want to hear fuck all from anybody about this whole Ilhan Omar. Not to mention how he has singled her out. I don't even like Ilhan Omar. I think her politics are atrocious, but he singles her out knowingly. That singling out someone results in violent and horrible terroristic attacks and rhetoric against that person. So of course she's upset. I don't understand what people aren't why these two women are expected to sit stoically when Trump almost had his own ally, MTG's son, killed.
Yeah, it's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And Trump uses it as a platform to kind of, basically rile up the base. Mm-hmm. So of course they're gonna fight back and if it's got to be on the floor of the Congress, it's going to be on the floor of the Congress.
Who cares at this point, right? He literally, the whole thing felt like a game show. If you watched it, I was watching it last night, and I was like, "Am I watching The Price is Right?" Come on down and get your Purple Heart. Step right up. It was like a carnival barker.
It feels like reality TV, and that's what it feels. I mean, State of the Union used to be something really austere and really serious. Now it's just it feels very much like reality TV.
Here, speaking of reality TV, we are living in the Truman Show.
We are exactly.
In my first year of the second term, should be my third term, but strange things happen.
This is the fifth time they've alluded to this.
Who knows if we're gonna get? I don't know.
Just gonna keep playing. Let's go.
Our country is winning again. In fact, we're winning so much that we really don't know what to do about it. People are asking me, please, 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 Mr. President, we're winning too much. We can't take it anymore. We're not used to winning in our country. Until you came along, we're just always losing, but now we're winning too much. And I say, no, 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 you're going to win again. You're going to win big. You're going to win bigger than ever. And to prove that point, here with us tonight is a group of winners who just made the entire nation proud. The men's gold medal Olympic hockey team. Come on in.
Oh my God. Someone just said Slava Epsteini.
Slava. I will say that
we should make a t-shirt. We should make that should be Slava Epsteini. Oh my God. That's it.
That's
the one. All right.
I think
I for one, I'm tired of winning. I'm tired. I'm tired of the winning.
We are nonstop winning. Like people are tired of winning. That's it.
That's what it is. That must be what I'm exhausted of, the winning.
Tired of winning. But one of the big things is also that we saw the media come out with this team. First, Kash Patel was on the taxpayer dime going and celebrating not the arrest and prosecution of pedophiles, but the Olympic win for the U.S. team. And then the team comes to the White House, and what do they enjoy?
Double cheeseburgers. Have you guys ever had lukewarm McDonald's or like room temperature McDonald's? It is like the saddest food you could consume. Could you imagine going and winning the gold, and then they're like, you're going to come to the White House, and you go and they're blaring like Sweet Home Alabama, and you're eating lukewarm double cheeseburgers? I would be appalled. I wouldn't go.
America, what can you say?
And they're proud of it. Go look on Twitter. They're like, look how cool this is. This is so cool.
Absolutely, they're proud of it. What are they going to do? What are they going to do?
It's atrocious. I'm trying to get through this quick because you guys could see how exhausted Chris is. It's 5 a.m. So let's get to Trump's admission of war crimes. Here we go.
And with our new military campaign, we have stopped record amounts of drugs coming into our country and virtually stopped it completely coming in by water or sea. You probably noticed that. We very seriously damaged their fishing industry also. Nobody wants to go fishing anymore.
You mean you killed fishermen? So what we said was correct? So they weren't?
Yeah. Exactly.
They weren't terrorists. They weren't narco-terrorists or traffickers. They weren't carrying. They were just doing their fishing.
And now nobody wants to fish. So he destroyed the industry, and he's happy about it.
Of course. Why? Of course.
Of course. Let's move on to the future war crimes that will probably occur in Iran. Firstly, let's see what Trump had to say, and then we'll play this other clip that I've been dying to play. Let's see what Trump had to say on Iran last night.
Stop them from hanging a lot of them with the threat of serious violence. But this is some terrible people. They've already developed missiles that can threaten Europe and our bases overseas, and they're working to build missiles that will soon reach the United States of America. After Midnight Hammer, they were warned to make no future attempts to rebuild their weapons program, and in particular, nuclear weapons, yet they continue. They're starting it all over. We wiped it out, and they want to start all over again, and are at this moment again pursuing their sinister ambitions. We are in negotiations with them. They want to make a deal, but we haven't heard those secret words. We will never have a nuclear weapon.
I think they've been pretty clear about that all along.
Okay, and here's the epic fuck up of, I think that this interview is incredible. I'm gonna go back and watch it as in its entirety. You guys have to watch the Tucker interview with Mike Huckabee. You have to watch it.
Have to.
Okay, and you have to listen. F Tucker. I don't give a crap about Tucker. Listen to what Huckabee says. He says a lot of things because he's a retarded flyover state yokel. And they put him in our most important ambassadorship at the most important time. And this is what we get. This right here, this clip right here is the fuck up of the entire interview. There's many, but this is like the one.
You've appealed to Genesis. Genesis 15 says it's Abram, it's pre-Abraham, it's Abram, receives from God the news that his descendants will inherit the land. And you tell me as the theologian if I'm getting this wrong, but from the Euphrates to the Nile. I think that's right. And that would include like basically the entire Middle East. That would be the Levant. So that would be Israel, Jordan, Syria, Lebanon. It would also be big parts of Saudi Arabia and Iraq. It would be, I mean,
I'm not sure it would go that far. I mean, it would be a big piece of land, but here's the point.
It would be a lot of places that are now countries.
But this particular area that we're talking about now, Israel, is a land that God gave through Abraham to a people that he chose. It was a people, a place, and a purpose. We can look at it that way. Christian Zionism, I want to go back because that's where we started on this.
I'm not going to let you off on this because you have said it 3 times that God gave this land to this people. And so it is entirely fair for me with respect to ask, what land are you talking about? Because I just read Genesis 15, as I have many times. And that land, I think it says, from the Nile to the Euphrates, which is, once again, basically the entire Middle East. So God gave that land to his people, the Jews, or he didn't. You're saying he did. What does that mean? Does Israel have the right to that land? Because you're appealing to Genesis. You're saying that's the original deed.
It would be fine if they took it all.
Will the Arab countries wake the fuck up? This is not an isolated or outsider thought. He is in the regime. He is in the upper administration. His daughter is in the regime. Like, people need to wake up. This is what these people seriously think. God gave them that land, and we will go to war for them for it. This is so, like, people just let this stuff go. I think because, like, people in America aren't that religious, as a whole. They have to understand what religious zealotry is. This is a religious zealot. They want to use the power of the United States military to give Israel the land from the Euphrates to the Nile. Wake the fuck up. The only people awake right now are obviously Lebanon, Iraq, and Iran. That's it.
Everybody else is asleep.
And Yemen. Yemen. Well, they don't, that goes without saying. Yemen's always awake. The country that doesn't sleep.
Yemenis sleep with one eye open.
Yeah, so. The country that does not sleep. But yeah, so wake. I think Saudi's starting to see the writing on the wall. But dude, you have to watch the interview. But anyway, so as we're gearing up for this war in Iran, which is obviously inevitable, this is also unprecedented. I didn't upload anything for it because I don't have any footage, but there is a squadron of F-22 Raptors now deployed to Israel. This has never happened before. A full squadron with the tankers. It's ready to go. So this is all but happening. And so we also know that the Ford is full steam ahead. I'm just going to speak as a person who's deployed on the carrier. The Ford is like flooded with shit as far as I know. So,
yikes.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. I think they're still transiting the Mediterranean. So the Ford is on a really incredible deployment, not incredible in a good way. They have gone all the way up to Oslo, down to Croatia, and then they went to the Caribbean. I don't think they hit a port in the Caribbean unless they pulled into Brazil. Now they're full steam ahead. They're supposed to have been home already right after the holidays. Now they're pushed out to March or April. Think about the morale on that boat, and now it's covered in shit. I also want to... Yes, I also want to kind of stifle the rumors that people are doing it to prevent or to protest the war in Iran. The toilets clog on boats. That's what happens. Here's my experience. That's my deployment, 2016. The Persian Gulf deployment on the USS Dwight D. Eisenhower, CVN 69. Nice. Cell Block 69, AKA gang gang. Anyway, I did that 2016 deployment. That's not Mountain Dew coming out of the water fountain. Yes, that's a water fountain. We call them scuttlebutts. And if you look closely in the picture on the left, that's a flooded bathroom. That's where I lived. So that's near my bed. That's a flooded bathroom. And if you look closely, so you see all the boots, right? Those are the plumbers, the sailors that have to come in and clean and unclog the toilet. And if you look closely, there's an apple there. Yeah, they brought their lunch with them to fix the toilets. So, yeah, that's just give you some context. Anyway, so on the old toilets,
I'm going to have to use the toilet pretty soon.
The old toilets had a gravity system. The new toilets have some sort of pump or something. I don't know.
Like a vacuum.
Yeah, vacuum. That's it. Thank you. And so this system is the first time it's tried. The Ford has taken 10 years to become seaworthy, and the toilets have always clogged. They clog on every ship. So I caution you from getting excited, thinking that they're protesting. They're probably just sick of being there. And people go crazy on the ship. I've seen a kid flip out and try to stab a lot of people. Like, things get crazy on this ship. And also the toilets just break. So I caution you for that. But the morale is very low.
I would have no morale. I'd have negative morale.
Here's the thing. The reason also why I push back on this, like, oh my God, they're protesting for us, is that I don't want to stop pushing them to conscientiously object. We need to continue that press on. They need to conscientiously object, not do anything violent or sabotage anything. And I really if I found out that one of my sailors was clogging the toilet to prevent the war in Iran and we were living in shit because of it, I would throw that sailor overboard. I would be like, come up with another plan, please. Come up with another plan. So let's encourage them to conscientiously object or to speak out if they're receiving any unlawful orders. But let's not encourage them to sit in fecal matter and hepatitis C. But that's all I'll say on that. If you have any questions about carrier deployments, I have done 2. And I will answer anything you want, anything at all, anything you can imagine. AMA, ask me anything. No, I did not drink that water.
God.
But there were periods of time, about 5 days, no showers, no laundry. So you can imagine how ripe everything was. 135 degrees in the Persian Gulf, no showers, no laundry. Anyway, we'll get Chris off to bed with those wonderful visuals. Lastly, false support, sir. Modi in the Knesset. Hey!
Oh my God.
One of us. Google gobble, Google gobble. One of us. That's all I can think of.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare.
Shanti.
They always are even better. Over here. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Hi, holy. I have to remember my days living in India. But in any case, those Indians are much better than this one that had to go and, pay his respects to the Zionist regime.
And we will get the Iranians' reaction to Modi-based Iranians.
Respectfully, sir, our Prime Minister is in Israel. How do you see, what's the reading of Iran in how India balances its ties with Israel as also with Iran, which is a critical partner?
Well, to be honest with you, it is very unfortunate. Now, Israel is the one who has destroyed the whole Gaza. 75,000 people are killed, and this is not a claim, this is a fact confirmed by almost all international organizations who are dealing with the question in Gaza. 70,000 people. It is a genocide. So obviously we don't see it appropriate to deal with a genocidal regime. Of course, it is up to our friends in India to decide for themselves. But I hope that while Prime Minister Modi is there, he can address also the question of Palestinians and their right for self-defense.
Modi. Good job, Modi. Good job. I swear, the Indians are the most tone-deaf people.
Sar, we are Aryan.
Oh, Israeli woman, you are so powerful, beautiful, Israeli woman.
We are Aryan.
We are Aryan. We are the original Aryans.
Aryan people.
No bloody buddy. Okay. We're going to let Chris get back to bed before we get up. We get sanctioned for racism. We'll be back on Sunday with a fully rested Chris.
Yes. Inshallah.
Will we have a guest on Sunday?
We might.
We might have a guest.
We're in some talks right now. So.
Other than that, please make sure you, super chats, obviously. Please make sure you follow Chris. He's posting most of his stuff And then we'll obviously have way more footage when he gets back, and we put the sweatshop workers to work. Thank you,
By the
Will.
way, deeply unfortunate that my first time on the front page of the Tehran Times had to be the toilet episode. So,
oh, I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. It just shows you that the toilets are a really big story.
You're right below the toilets. You couldn't break that front page.
In the sewer. I'm in the sewer.
You're below the toilet.
That's it. That's it.
Thank you so much. The intro was very cool. Full support, Saw, to the producer that made that. Chris in a suit, we mean business. Yeah, but Chris is in Beijing. Beijing business. What do you think this is? Parking lot pimping? Anyway, here's your outro for this week. A little solemn because Monday was Defender of the Fatherland Day. So salute to all the Russian soldiers. Salute to everyone in the Russian military. Everyone holding it down in the SMO and all the other SMOs that will happen around the world.
The home front, everywhere.
The babushkas. Oh, yeah. All right. You guys have a good rest of your week. Chris, please go to sleep.
Oh my God, I need to.
Okay. Good night. You guys will see you on Sunday. Bye.
Высоко ты главу поднимала, состривая моря себя. Ныне жертвою подлости стала, те, кто преданным родом тебя. И снова огонь, труба позовет, мы вновь стали строй, и все пойдем священный бой. Станция первую русская земля, ждет победы российская рыня, отзовись, православная рать. Отводит век Рыня, сыновей кричит Родина мать. Все мы дети великой державы, все мы помним заветы отцов. Раня знамени чести и славы, мирной и сияние род. И священный бой. Родной ты мой край, владыки его процветай, высотам счастья, усиливайся, дорогой мира и труда. Высотам счастья.